I'd like to announce the successful capture of the Goonabomber. What a bad guy he was. Straight to El Salvador. Sadly, Officer Vinnie Minion, he was one of the good ones, died catching him. America owes a great debt to Vinnie Minion. We're going to waterboard that Goonabomber to hell. From now on, January 6th, will be known as Vinnie Minion Day. No day off, though. That's socialist.
Welcome to the Never Goon Daily Podcast, brought to you by Never Goon Media. Lately, it's been pretty hard to ignore the headlines, right? The attack on Trump Tower, then finding this Goonabomber's manifesto, and that standoff, wow, days long. It's just a really bizarre and, frankly, disturbing series of events. So what we want to do today is, really dive into who this Goonabomber, this Elias Mortimer Grayson, actually is, based on the info we have.
It's a deeply unsettling case. It really touches on how intellectual pursuits can sometimes just veer off into a really dangerous territory. And you see the real-world impact of what honestly looks like a complete descent into, well, incoherence.
Yeah, exactly. Let's start with the basics then. Elias Mortimer Grayson, born August 12, 1965. And by all accounts, I mean, this guy was incredibly gifted academically.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking degrees from Harvard, Oxford.
Top tier.
And capped off with the Haverford Prize for his doctoral work, Myth and Materiality, Unearthing Prehistoric Belief Systems.
Serious intellectual firepower, like you said.
For sure.
And that background, philosophy and archaeology, it's key here. Both fields, they explore these really fundamental questions about human existence, our beliefs, our history.
Right.
Even his early philosophical work, The Abyss of Meaning, it grappled with that human search for purpose and how that search can potentially go sideways. So even before the whole, the gooning stuff started, he was already exploring some pretty heavy, maybe destabilizing ideas.
Okay, so a brilliant academic mind, seemingly on a path of serious inquiry. Then comes 1994 and the discovery of this Goon Caves in the Carpathian Mountains. Now, this is significant. It's dated to around 12,000 BCE.
Yeah, that's older than Göbekli Tepe.
Exactly. And for anyone who doesn't know, Göbekli Tepe is this huge archaeological site in Turkey that really, changed our understanding of early complex societies.
It's completely shifted the paradigm.
So the Goon Cave, predating that, it suggests maybe even earlier origins for complex belief systems.
Potentially, yeah.
And Grayson claimed this cave held profound truths, these gooning secrets.
And that's where the story takes a really sharp turn, into the strange.
Definitely.
Precisely. The idea that this cave, older than arguably the first known monumental architecture, that it contained truths that unraveled the mind's coherence, as some reports claim he said. I mean, that's deeply provocative. And understandably, it started to worry his colleagues.
You'd think so.
Imagine finding something you believe could fundamentally alter, our understanding of consciousness itself, the potential psychological impact.
Yeah.
It could be immense, maybe destabilizing for anyone not prepared for it.
And that alarm seems pretty justified in hindsight. By 1999, things had escalated. Almost unbelievably, the UN actually authorized a controlled nuclear detonation to destroy the Goon Cave.
A nuclear detonation.
Their reasoning, concerns about the psychological impact after other researchers started showing disturbing symptoms.
That's such an extreme measure.
It really is.
It's an extraordinary event in archaeological history. Just the fact the UN felt that kind of drastic action was necessary. It speaks volumes about the perceived threat. It suggests whatever Grayson claimed to have found, or maybe just the environment around the research.
Yeah.
It was seen as a significant risk to global mental well-being, potentially.
Wow.
And the lack of transparency about the specific symptoms, that just adds to the mystery and the unease.
You can only imagine Grayson's state of mind after that. His life's work, gone.
Right.
In the same year, 1999, he gets diagnosed with acute psychosis.
A severe, sudden onset of mental illness.
Then, 2000, he escapes from a psychiatric facility. In Switzerland, apparently.
How did he manage that?
Story goes he bribed a guard with some ancient artifacts he still had.
Oh.
And then he declares the destroyed cave a holy site, adopts the name Goonabomber, and vows revenge against the institutions he blames.
It's just a radical, tragic transformation from respected scholar to this. The destruction of the Goon Cave, something he clearly believed held immense, maybe transformative significance. It really looks like the catalyst, the trigger for a profound psychological breakdown. His actions after that suggest a mind just fixated on retribution, all filtered through this increasingly bizarre lens of gooning.
Which brings us to the manifesto. This thing they found after the Trump Tower attack, described as a grotesque spiral of nonsense. It's supposed to define gooning, but listen to this excerpt. Gooning is not a path, but a prolapse of meaning. It is the eyeball chewing its socket, the clank vomiting its gears into a soup of rust.
Yeah.
And what does that even tell you? It's just words, violent words.
Well, Dr. Priya Anand, in her analysis, she calls it a deliberate assault on coherence.
Okay.
The language is intentionally disturbing, unsettling, but it lacks any discernible logic or consistent definition. It feels less like an ideology and more like just an expression of profound rage and disillusionment, using this invented concept, gooning, as a vehicle for chaos.
The loss of the cave wasn't just scientific for him.
No, it seems like it was a catastrophic loss of meaning itself.
Like he took whatever he thought was in that cave, this principle of incoherence maybe, and decided to just unleash it on the world.
That's one interpretation, yeah.
Okay, so fast forward to the capture. After that 6-day standoff, derelict warehouse near the Brooklyn Bridge, the Department of Gooning Elimination, DOGE, finally got him.
DOGE, right.
It's worth mentioning, DOGE is a specialized agency formed specifically to deal with gooning threats.
Which shows how seriously this was being taken, even before the Trump Tower incident.
Absolutely. But sadly, this capture, it came at a terrible cost.
Officer Vincent Minion.
Yeah, Officer Vinnie Minion died.
His sacrifice, it just highlights the very real tragic consequences of Grayson's actions.
Definitely.
By all accounts, a dedicated officer, a father, a coach, someone really invested in his community. And his heroism, shielding that rookie from the flash fire, it's a testament to his character.
Yeah, Vinny was. He was 38, father of 2, coached Little League.
Yeah.
Just a genuinely good guy. It's heartbreaking knowing he passed away at Bellevue.
Awful.
Mayor Adams is planning a memorial, which is good. A fitting way to honor him. You know, this whole thing, it hits a bit closer to home for me.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually had 2 uncles who were police officers, both involved in, various goon elimination efforts over the years. One of them was Vinny.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. That personal connection must make this even tougher.
Yeah, it does. It really underscores the human cost. And the bravery of guys like Vinny putting themselves out there.
Absolutely.
I remember Uncle Vinny telling stories. This is even before DOGE was really a thing. About trying to track down early signs of Grayson's, well, his early gooning-related weirdness, Vinny used to call it.
Weirdness.
He said it felt like trying to catch smoke. There was never a clear motive you could grab onto. It was this relentless drive to disrupt, to confuse.
Catching smoke, that sounds about right.
My other uncle, he's still on the force. He was involved way back. Trying to find Grayson after he escaped from Switzerland, said they were just chasing shadows. This gooning thing, as they understood it then. It wasn't political in the usual sense. It was more about unraveling things.
That lines up perfectly with Dr. Arnan's assessment, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's not rooted in ideology, she says, but in this deep-seated obsession. A void, maybe created by the destruction of the Goon Cave that he tried to fill with destruction, with chaos. The incoherence wasn't just a tactic. It seems like it was the core of his actions.
Right, and speaking of widespread disruption, I mean, the list of alleged acts tied to this guy, it's just staggering.
It really is.
This January 6th, we're throwing a big-ass barbecue in honor of Vinnie Minion right in the Capitol. We're going to have monster trucks, jousting on the lawn, people slapping each other unconscious. Oh, there's going to be a live reading of the Epstein Files by Elon Musk with a backing track by Kanye. All the profits will go to buying liquor and cigars for Vinnie Minion's family. They deserve it.
Apparently, way back, there's alleged involvement with Al-Qaeda in the initial planning for the World Trade Center attack.
Seriously.
Yeah. The FBI supposedly thought if they'd use his version of the plan, half of Manhattan could have been leveled. I mean, it's a spicy meatball.
Good grief. That's terrifying to even think about.
Then you've got these, monthly cryptic threats to world leaders. Drone-delivered gooning paraphernalia, whatever the heck that is.
Right. What even is that?
Who knows? Hacking the White House teleprompter back in 2010. We all remember that incident.
Oh, yeah.
And the exploding Big Mac attempt on Trump. It's just the sheer bizarre nature of it all. It's almost darkly comical if it wasn't so dangerous.
It paints a picture of someone whose initial interests just took a drastically wrong turn, manifesting as these increasingly outlandish, threatening behaviors.
But it doesn't stop there. He's also implicated as, a central figure in founding ISIS.
ISIS? How?
Supposedly using the chaos after the Iraq War as cover. trying to excavate another goon cave.
Unbelievable.
Then the San Francisco mayoral campaign, alias EM Goon, followed by allegedly sabotaging the city's sewage system. That's another spicy meatball right there.
It's a sewage system. Okay.
Oh, and get this. Linked to developing fentanyl, introducing it to black markets, contributing to the opioid crisis.
Wow, the scope is...
It's insane. Corporate manipulation, too. Rigging value meal plans at fast food chains. Again, some kind of warped gooning protest against society.
just attacking structure wherever he sees it.
Seems like it. And the digital realm. Interference with streaming services, creating this ad goon algorithm, bombarding users with unskippable philosophical lectures mixed with, well, digital gooning, I guess.
A goon.
It just gets weirder. And then these unconfirmed theories linking him to creating and spreading COVID-19.
Now that sounds highly speculative.
Totally speculative, yeah.
Yeah.
But the theory is out there.
Yeah.
Deliberately infecting himself, spreading it, messing with vaccine development.
Okay, that's extreme.
And the California wildfires. Whispers he takes an annual vacation just to start fires, causing billions in damage. That's a seriously spicy meatball.
Good Lord.
It's like this guy has been a one-man engine of chaos across, like, every part of modern life.
Right. Well, while these are all allegations and they need serious investigation, the sheer scope suggests a long history, a pattern of trying to destabilize and disrupt across so many different sectors. The underlying thread, however twisted it is, seems to be this concept of gooning as a force against any kind of established order or meaning.
Right. So now Elias Mortimer Grayson, the Goonabomber, he faces charges. Terrorism, arson, murder.
Yeah.
Seems like this incredibly strange, disturbing chapter might finally be drawing to a close.
The capture is definitely a significant development. The legal proceedings, they'll undoubtedly be complex, given the breadth and just the bizarre nature of his alleged crimes.
For sure.
The focus now will be on, well, ensuring justice is served.
Yeah.
And maybe trying to understand, as much as that's even possible, the motivations behind these just incomprehensible acts.
So as we try to make sense of all this, it really leaves you with a profound, kind of unsettling question, doesn't it? Think about the trajectory. Grayson, the promising philosopher, the archaeologist, grappling with the nature of meaning itself, transforming into the Goonabomber, this agent of just seemingly senseless chaos. Does the destruction of one site, even a really significant, mysterious site like the Goon Cave, does that truly explain such a vast, multifaceted campaign of disruption?
It's hard to believe it's just that.
Or were there maybe deeper psychological issues, vulnerabilities there from the beginning?
Perhaps exacerbated by the discovery, or it's less.
And what is this intense, almost obsessive focus on this seemingly nonsensical idea, gooning? What does that tell us about the fundamental human need for meaning?
That's a deeper question, isn't it?
Even in its most twisted, destructive forms.
Yeah.
Are we always searching for some kind of framework, some explanation for the world, even if that framework defies all logic and leads to unimaginable destruction?
It suggests the absence of meaning, or the perceived destruction of it, can be profoundly dangerous.
It's a disturbing thought to sit with, for sure.
I used to have a lot of respect for Dr. Grayson before he went woke and called himself Goonabomber. While his terrorism is quite ideologically consistent, we must always condemn gooning in all forms. The United Nations should have nuked that goon cave 5 times as far as I'm concerned. I'm just so grateful for Never Goon Media for providing a platform for anti-goon voices. My #1 rule for life is to never goon, and I know Officer Vinnie Minion felt the same. God bless his soul, and God damn those gooners.